Once again, we welcome you to the What It Takes Radio Company as we present the Marketing Life. Everything you do is marketing you. And in our past adventure, we challenge you to be one of the three, one of the 3% who really know who they are and what they want. And now we challenge you again. We challenge you to really get to know your audience so you know who you will market life to. Here we go. Here we are. We're back once again. And so are you, which might mean, maybe not, but it might mean that you're actually serious. And I hope you are, because you're one of the few people so far who realizes just how important this is. Go back to my initial lesson. The microphone is always on. You are always marketing you. Every time you are on the public stage, any appearance you make, that has something to do with how the people who meet you think of you and are affected by you, or maybe even influenced by you. You're always on stage. Image is not everything, but it is the first thing, and it is a continual thing. I always have to think about, okay, should I wear a tie today? Well, now that I've explained it, that I will dress for the event, I will dress for the audience, sometimes it will be important for me to step it up a notch and perhaps be one of the better dressed, maybe even close to the best dressed in that kind of an event. I always make sure that I am dressed in a way in which I probably am at least one step above the general audience that I'm there. So, if I speak to the Rotary Club, I know that in effect, it'll be about half and half. A number of the gentlemen there and of the women, they will come in what I would call probably casual, sometimes maybe business casual. So I'm going to be at least business casual. But I'm going to make sure it is striking enough, or perhaps I will even make sure I have a little, kerchief in my coat. And I may even have an informal tie. I'm always seeking to be a little bit above. And I remind people all the time of the wonderful, very modest and humble, but successful salesman who was known for his authenticity and was somewhat concerned by the fact that everybody in the new group that he was in was talking about it's okay to dress as you are. And he simply said, well, I've never lost a sale because I wore a coat and tie. Just let that sit on your head for a while, You're never going to lose a sale because you were well dressed. Just probably won't happen. And if it might, I'm not so sure that's the kind of people you want to deal with. Remember, in effect, be the kind of person you would want for a client. Do you remember that? Now, that's leading us, of course, to our discussion last week, be one of the 3%. And what that is a life-changing formula to actually be one of the persons who really has a purpose, a plan, poise, self-confidence. In effect, they work in a world of average. Half the people you meet are below average. Think about that. But you are not. In fact, you're above average. Perhaps you're significantly above average, and that has nothing to do necessarily with your intelligence or your education, but it has a lot to do with what is truly important. Now, one of the things you need to do now is start being very aware. Who are the people who stand out in your church, in your place of worship, in your service club, in your business, in your industry, in the community, who are the people who, because of who they are, how they appear, how they perform, how they connect, how they treat other people, who are the people who stand out? They truly are above average. See what you can learn from them. Now, I didn't say imitate them, though that might not be a very bad idea to begin with, until you have established your own personal style and your own personal signatures. All of those things are things we're going to learn in the marketing life, and that's why this little once-a-week program is going to become a full-bore labeled, and it won't be free, class or course available to those who are serious. I mean, you're one of the 3%. You understand that this is important. Now, it may be important in one or two different ways that are important to differentiate. Perhaps you have a good job. The good job is out there, and you obviously have colleagues, and maybe you have even customers or clients or internal customers, however you want to define that, is that your job is obviously important, but you have a salary. You are paid. You aren't every day, like I am and many others, getting up every morning and say, today I am for sale. My stuff is for sale. My services are for sale. And your marketing is not just a way to live, it is a way that you have to make a living. You don't get paid just for showing up. You don't get paid for doing the job. You don't even get paid for doing it well. You get paid because somebody does what you do, wants what you do, needs what you do, and they do something they don't want to do, and they give you money. They'd prefer to keep their money. But they give it to you because you provide something they need or they want. That's it. And so if that's the way you're having to make a living, that will mean that every day you're going to have to be much more aware of your marketing presence. Like I said, in effect, I understand that when I sit down next to that person in the airplane, in a sense, the microphone's on. It could be that that person is someone who could be significant to me. Chances are it's just another person, and it will certainly not hurt me to be friendly and kind and gracious and show interest in them if they want. But I'm always aware that, in effect, everything I do and everything I say is part of my marketing presence. And that's how, eventually, in my many contacts, I'm going to get the opportunity to tell people what I do and demonstrate how good I am, and perhaps even get to the point where I can ask them to give me money. If that's the kind of marketing you have to do, well, boy, you've got to be really good, and you've got to do it all the time. On the other hand, your marketing you may have nothing to do with exactly the money you make, but even in that paid job place, the way you do marketing you is something that will have something to do with your power, your position, and your promotion. Got that? You're marketing you because you need to have power and influence. You need to be in a position that gives you power, and you might be in the position that you can gain a promotion. I cannot emphasize this more. That's true of almost every situation. Now, if you are content with the simple, and I don't mean to put this in a pejorative, if you are in a position where you just do pretty much the same thing, the same way, all the time, and no one is necessarily competing for your job, but you have a good job that is secure, and you do the same good thing, and you do it well every time, and you really have job security, then the marketing positioning or the marketing performance is perhaps something that you don't have to give much attention to. So now the question becomes, who are you? Who are you? And that's why I went through the exercise of saying, in effect, become one of the 3%. And actually, if you're real serious about, quote, marketing yourself, you may even ask someone like me to do a marketing audit. And that means we go through all of the things that go into marketing you and performing in such a way that you're selling and influencing and impacting other people. We could do that. But you have to know yourself, and you have to know you pretty well, and you have to know what you want. And now, for the lesson today, who is your audience? Who are the people? You can't please everybody. You can't market to everybody. We have a saying in broadcasting and radio and TV, hey, in effect, if you try and reach everybody with everything, you reach nobody with nothing. Now, there's a number of people who aren't watching this. You know why? Because they don't know and they don't care. You see them every day, all over. And they have no intentions of ever learning how to market and market themselves. They don't care. Maybe they should. Maybe they would be better off if they would. But this program, as I would say, this is not for you. This is for you. If you really want to be one of the 3%, if you want to stand out in your field, if you want to be the best, if you want to make a good living, if you want to make your mark, if you want to have power and influence, if you want to have impact in your life, I can help you. But there's a lot of people that are not in my audience. Well, who is in your audience? Think about that now. Who are the audiences, or the audience that is your primary audience that you're trying to reach in this particular marketing effort? Who are they? How well do you know them? How well do you understand them? Are you one of them? Do you really connect and relate to them? Do you want to? I dealt with a fellow one time who actually worked in here's what it was. It was a shop where they sold car insurance for people who could hardly qualify for good insurance. Now, in the state where this man worked, is before you could get a driver's license or you could buy a car, you had to prove that you had insurance. Well, in effect, a lot of people, they knew they wouldn't get the car unless they had car insurance, and they were hard to insure or they couldn't really pay very much. And so he was in the business of selling people high buck monthly car insurance. It was way overpriced. However, they needed it, and they needed it badly. They were people who were oftentimes somewhat down on their luck or struggling through, and that's who came to the shop to try and buy auto insurance by the month, and then they're going to see if they could get the next month, and maybe they were just going to try and go without, and now that they had their car and driver's license, they were going to break the law and drive without insurance. He didn't know, but he knew that was many of their strategies. And he was a good guy. And he simply said to me, I know that most of these people are not clients. They are customers for a day. You know what? I really don't like this, but it works for now. And I make a pretty good living for it right now. So you know what? It's worth the hassle and all of the stuff I go through because that's my customers right now. Now, there was no love lost, no affection, no desire to really be helpful. He was very much involved in just a transaction with people who wanted to buy car insurance right now, by the month, and get it. And he was there to help them get it, what they needed. And no long-term love, long-term referrals, none of that happened. It was simply you go every day and you find the desperate people and you get their money and give them a month of car insurance. Boom, that was it. Now, there's a lot of jobs like that. Well, is that the kind of customer you want? Who are the people you want in your audience? And so I come back to naming that. And I also emphasize that you may have a number of audiences. Just recently, there was a young man in our church who was hired to be working with the young people. And they put together a little video of him. And I just simply wanted to say to him, he came up there, he was there. And, he at least in my impression, it was just like he got out of bed, put on whatever else he had, and he was ready to go. And he was going to give his little talk to the people in the church. Well, you know what? His primary audience is going to be the young kids and young adults in the church. And they have a lot in common. And that's fine. Certainly, you could dress in a way that pleases that audience. But what I wanted to point out to him is that his other audience is the parents. And another audience is the people who are perhaps old enough to be the grandparents of the kids. You know what? They're the ones who pay the bills. That's right. In that church, it is the older people who primarily put out the money. And they're the ones who are putting the money in the plate for him to get his salary. And those people are just as much a part of the audience that he has to please, as well as pleasing the children and the young adults. He has a number of audiences he has to consider. Just being cool for the kids won't be good enough. Making sure that the parents feel comfortable with him. And it'll be good if he understands that the older people, the grandparents, have much more conservative and traditional values, and they're the ones who will come to church wearing perhaps a coat and tie. And you know what? You better be ready to play in their place too. Don't have to go the full way, but you have to be comfortable to position and play in that audience too. Well, I'm done for today, but my storytelling was designed to help you begin to take this idea of know your audience. Who is it you want to influence? Who are the people you want to draw in and connect with? Who are the people that you are marketing to? There we go. That's lesson 3, adventure 3 for today. Let me know if I can help you as you are making your mark and you're serious enough to want to do well in life and in business by understanding that all business is show business. Image is not everything, but it is the first thing. You should become the kind of person you want for a client or customer. And in effect, because of all that it is, life is performance marketing every day in every way. All the best, all the blessings, and that's part of how I market myself. Just simply try and give you an affirmation and a good connection and blessings upon you. Hey, the marketing life will continue. You press on too. We'll see you next time. Now, I can help you and help your company. Here we go. StanHusted@gmail.com. StanHusted@gmail.com. Bye for now. Hey, thank you for spending some time with us. Remember, we can help you. StanHusted@gmail.com. Check out our YouTube channel, The Marketing Life. And leave a message if you want, 520-664-7002 USA. We're here to help you be at your best. And remember, we are the best. We are the What It Takes Radio Company. And we can help you get on the radio and market you.